Hello, everyone, and welcome to the much-awaited anniversary-ish episode of Untier Talk. Technically, that's next week, but I'm going to split this up anyway. I'm Megazard. I'm joined by Hajad, and also a lot of other people, if you guys want to just sound off.
What's up, guys? I'm back, and we have guests.
Hi, I'm Specs. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah. I didn't specify an order, so just, shout over each other. I don't care.
It's TJ.
That's TJ, and then we also have the new PU tier leader, Akir.
Hey, what's up?
Woo!
Woo! Akir, how does it feel to have more power than you've ever had in your life?
It feels like I have a lot of projects that I still need to do.
So busy, he just cuts out to go work.
Yeah.
What are we gonna fix ADV now, or make GSC PU?
No, current thing on the docket is black white PU.
Yeah, that's
Currently got it set up so that on the VR you can actually click the mod's name and it spits out a paste bin with their set.
Hey, that's not bad. I legit did not know about this. That we were working on this. That's cool. We're good at this.
We're in
Anyway,
safe hands, boys. We're in safe hands.
Anyway, like I said, this is next week's Untier Talk is going to be exactly a year from the first Untier Talk we uploaded, and we're like, let's do something special, get on like extra guests and talk about shit. It feels very weird to say I've been doing this for a year. I think it won't even have been the 50th episode because we missed a couple of weeks, but yeah, it's been a fun ride. That's just the quick why we have so many guests. Just a bit of reminiscing.
Fun times.
God, I remember making this channel banner. I forgot I made this. The banner on my channel, because it's really bad, but I just didn't care. I wanted fucking anything up there. Do you guys even know what it is? It's really, really bad.
Wait, isn't it not? Who's that Gen 4, the fourth gym leader?
No. That's my avatar.
that guy?
But the banner is is the big orange thing with the name MZ, and it's got a Murkrow hat and a Wobbuffet tail, really badly spliced, and you can see a lot of imperfections and white. It's bad, but I didn't care. I just wanted something up there. But Jesus, it just hit upon me how low quality everything is.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
it sucks a lot.
Thank you,
It's
Spec.
better than mine. Mine's just my name.
Hang on, let me look up yours.
I think I made it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's literally just your name on a
Yeah,
white
yeah,
background.
just my name.
All right.
Wait. Did you like Wobbuffet as a Pokemon? Because I always hated Wobbuffet as a Pokemon.
I love Wobbuffet. I think Wobbuffet's a great mon. Just in terms of, hey, this thing exists. I love it.
I built a team for Shuffle Death I think it must have been a year ago now, or some ridiculously long time ago, where I had a spike stack team with Wobbuffet, and how you'd win games is by switching Wobbuffet after you get up spikes and then forcing switches using it. That's the strat.
It's bulky death fodder, my guy.
Exactly. Bulky death fodder that forces switches. There we go.
Yeah. All right. So our first topic, unless you guys had any random shit, but I doubt it, was gonna be a PU ladder tournament, which by the time this goes up will have started, and I think there's definitely a lot to think about with ladder tour. These are big thing for the next few weeks, aside from the suspect, which we'll get to later. And it's gonna be a weird one. Ladder Tour is obviously the tournament where you definitely see a lot of newer faces because not all of the regular tour players can just join, and sometimes people don't. And this time we just really have a lot of very out there names, people I don't recognize. And I'm interested in seeing what they do. And it definitely lacks a lot of the big top players. I'm not in it. Hajad's not in it. There's no Teddy or Tasker, or if you go back to the PU seeded tour and look at the top seeds, a lot of them a lot of them are not there. So I want to just see your guys' thoughts on this. Are you interested in watching Ladder Tour? Who do you think is going to win? Interested in the whole dynamic of like a lot of people not being around for the tournament. Anything you guys want to go off about it?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think, to be honest, with the whole like not many like big names, I guess, that don't really they didn't qualify for the ladder tour. I think that's more to do with like the timing. Like at this moment, there's loads of PLs going on, and like for me especially, like exam season is approaching, so I'm more focused. Like basically playoffs like happens basically in exam week for me, so like it's a bit of like an awkward timing scenario, and I'm sure it's the case for a few other people, but yeah, I think it's just an awkward timing with regards to the thing. And moving quickly on to who I think will win, I think because the big builders and the big names aren't really in the tour, I think Qatar obviously stands out to me as the favorite, but I think, to be honest, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with like the newer names, especially the ones not like Tlenet, who uses the same style of Steam, but like the people who build but are less so like into the whole like tournament scene. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully somebody like out there makes a name for themselves and makes a nice run.
Real quickly, I got the stats that the people in seed, like going off the seedings from seeded tour, 7 of the top 10 players are not going to be in ladder tour. Possibly 8. Technically, week 4 hasn't gone up yet, but TJ probably qualifies according to Akir if you look at the ladder. And then, I'm sorry, so that's 7 of the top 10, and then number 11's not there, number 12's not there, number 15's not there, number 16, number 18, 19, 20. So yeah, that's like a lot of the top seeds. Anyway, carry on. I just wanted to start.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Like, if I was new to PU and I wanted to make a name for myself, and I was looking at this circuit, which tour would I really go for? It would be this one. So we got a lot of new people who are looking to make a name for themselves, looking for a little bit of exposure. And this is what the tour gives. So we got a lot of really interesting names. And we still got some good ones, like Ziri made it round 1.
Mm-hmm. Round 1 definitely had the most power qualifiers with Rexus, Ziri, Katut, Rob Jr., and Lockjaw.
Yeah, like I think a lot of top players just around this time, because it's kind of like not really a boring time, but kind of just like a quiet time in the PU community. So I think a lot of people just stopped caring a little bit. Ladder Tour is just kind of like that a lot of the time. I feel like it takes a lot of effort to actually qualify, just time-wise. Maybe not effort-wise, but time-wise it takes up a lot. And there's a lot of PLs going on right now. So
yeah, the time commitment actually is actually a really good point, because to let's say get Rex, it took me about 3 to 4 hours of consistent laddering, and you have to assume that you play more games in a ladder tournament because there's like an elo aspect to it rather than a let's get 80 GXC type of thing. So you're probably looking at about 5 to 6 hours of just playing ones, like concentrating and stuff, in order to qualify for a ladder tour. To be honest, like, is it worth it in the grand scheme of things? A lot of people just wait up and just say, nah, fuck it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's a dynamic between like how many points you get in the circuit and how much time you're putting in. And I think a lot of people just said fuck it, and they didn't. There's also the fact that like the end game, like near the end of the week, people are going hard, so you kind of have to keep your position up, which means you're going to have to play more. If I had to pick a winner, probably the obvious K-Tut, Shane Gould. I would like to see Ziri make another run. Yeah.
If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably pick K-Tut.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like Ziri, Rexus.
K-Tut had, let's see, he won the seasonal, and he won circuit finals, and he won the seasonal right before circuit finals, but he didn't win seeded. So I think the only people he's lost to recently, in the seasonal he went to losers, and I want to say it was to Lockjaw, and in seeded he dropped to Pills, I believe. So I don't know, maybe it's a Brazilian thing? Weak to Brazilians. Strong against Americans, British people, just not South Americans. I don't know. Do you guys think this also might have any larger ramifications for what we see with the circuit at the end of the year, with just like how many people are not in and not getting points for one of our big tours, no tours being dropped? I know I have thoughts on this, but I want to see what you guys think first.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to impact at all, pretty much, because I believe it's 40 points for qualifying. So, assuming you spent
double check that
40 assuming you spent the 6 hours to qualify for the ladder tour, it's 40 points plus the opportunity cost of getting more points depending on how far you go. So, and you're playing quality opposition, well, mostly quality opposition when you're signing up for that.
Okay, so, it's only 40 points if you go at round one. If you win a round, it's 75 points, and then after that, it's 150, 250, 375, 500. So that does mean a decent amount of the qualifiers, like a fourth of the qualifiers, are getting 150 points for it.
Yeah, I'd say, but the key aspect that I'd say is if you look at the points for the people who qualified, let's say last year, you'd see consistently that they're getting like 100 points, 200 points in like the seasonals. So like the more tournament based things, and that's more like an indicator that where rather than performing extremely well in one thing and then like dropping off and then maybe like another great performance, more people were like consistent across the board in terms of qualification. Obviously you had people who won the seasonal and what they qualified, but you see the people towards the back end, like the people who scraped in, they were more consistent across the thing rather than, make it into that qualifying bracket. So, yeah, I don't think it'll have too much of an impact. What do you guys think?
I think the top players who didn't qualify for ladder tour will make up for it in the tours to come, to be honest. Like, we may see some randoms from this who make it, like, who value a lot of the points from this tour, who might not do so well in the tours to come. But I think the top players will make up for it.
I've been looking at the seasonal, or not seasonal, but circuit standings recently, and I was actually thinking about this a few days ago. I actually do think sort of affect the circuit standings.
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if your mic changed. It was fine, but now like it's pretty much impossible to tell what you're saying.
If you look at the people who qualified last year, like just most of them are just not there. Well, it's also just been a single seasonal, and also if you think about the people who qualified last year, Tasker's in a semi-quit state. I just fucking didn't care and washed out of this real fast after the circuit finals last time, and then Teddy semi-quit, things like that. So I don't think that's the most surprising. Obviously, Katut's still up there, Hajad's still up there, but I guess I'll throw out a couple thoughts. Oh, I'm sorry, go on. I was just gonna say, like, people like I call them T-Noons, and then we got Rexes and like Yetla and even Lockjaw like just coming through. So yeah, I think most of them like qualified for the ladder tour. If they do well, they'll definitely have like an impact.
Mm-hmm. So what I kind of have been thinking about this, first of all, don't forget circuit is going to be top 16 instead of top 8. And it's also only 4 tournaments instead of the 5 that we had, even though that was a 5 of the best finish limit where one seasonal got dropped. So that this is just like straight up more opportunity for more people to get in with less points. And I do think it's entirely reasonable to take someone like, say, Tlenet, who's never really done much in any PU tour yet, but is nevertheless like coming up and like a bit of an up and coming player. And if he like gets the points in this, does like just solidly in like another season or something, definitely possible he could slip in. Obviously, the flip side of that is if whoever wins a seasonal or the Open or something, they have a very strong chance of getting in the way the circuit works. Especially like if you win or play second in Open, that's definitely going to be pretty strong. Although I don't think that's a problem. It does, possibly take away from people. I kind of just rambled off my point. That there are so few tours, though, this is already literally half of what we have to qualify. So I think if anyone didn't qualify for Ladder Tour and maybe didn't show up in this last seasonal, which was an extremely weird seasonal, they've only got 2 tours left, and they're going to need to perform well in both. So we'll see exactly what ends up happening. This could be a very weird shakeup, and this could be huge for any of the hopefuls who qualified for Ladder Tour to really put in that work and get their way into circuit. Like, this is a great opportunity for the people who qualified. If they can move past the first few rounds, then I think this will be pretty big for them. And I'm definitely looking forward to see like what happens with the remainder of circuit, because I think the final seasonal might make this end up coming really crazy down to the wire in a bloodbath for like the people who are just barely qualifying. Because I think you're probably going to need to do well across the board, and not qualifying for Ladder Tour is literally 0 points in a fourth of the tours. Not to mention a lot of people got very few points in the last seasonal, so like me and Teddy and Tasker and Sam I Am and whoever, we like basically 2 tours out, which is leaving a big slot open for someone like the aforementioned Tlenet or Rexus or whoever does well in this tournament to kind of sneak past what you might think of as the more established people. So could be nothing, but I definitely thought it was an interesting point worth thinking about.
Yeah, I'd forgotten there was only 4 tours in the circuit, so I think maybe it'll make a bigger impact than I thought.
Didn't know it was top 16.
Yeah, I was going to say top 16. That's a big thing, because that brings the point threshold a lot down. So if you make it far in this tour, like you get to a final or semi-final, that's a big chunk of points. That's a good chunk that you can take essentially into the playoffs, like your chase for the playoffs. Like that's like a net few points that you don't need to get in the season or whatever. So
keep in mind,
I think
point total very different. The top 8 qualifying for last year's circuit, top 8 went from 1037 points to 623 points. Obviously, off 5 tours, that's a bit inflated from what we'd get this time, but still. 9 through 16, 522 points to 225 points. Question is Ladder Tour enough to really get you those points scored a bit lower as it is? Or are those lower, 10 to 16 slots going to be taken up by, the random tour players who made it to quarterfinals of Open and didn't play anything else? Don't know yet, but, we'll see.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Ladder Tour in general?
I
know some people have differing opinions, but
I like it. If you don't like it, you're bad because it's in our circuit. So ha.
I think it gives a lot of people who normally might not have a chance.
Yeah.
But I definitely get the frustrations. Ladder can be annoying.
Honestly, I think we've seen a lot less of that. I really don't recall a lot of people getting angry at Ladder or something, although obviously, again, less people came out to qualify, and PU is definitely in a bit of a quiet slump and has been for the last, month or two. But still, this was felt like a pretty calm tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was supposed to qualify last week and like the week before that, and like literally like an hour before the deadline, I decided to hop on just to like see like how far I could get. I wanted to like get to like 1700 or something like crazy, and I just went on like a massive tilt, and I was just really upset at myself for being stupid. And like that happened.
Yeah, well, you should have done that like after the deadline finished. To be honest, that would have been a smarter idea.
Damn.
But I mean,
I'd probably spent
it's like it's a thing with ladder. Like it's naturally people are going to be interested or not interested depending on their real life circumstances and how much they're enjoying the tier. Basically a bunch of factors that lead into it. But yeah, I think overall it's like a net positive. Like if you think about the amount of like lesser known talents that could qualify for ladder tour and think that's a reasonable, like I can get to 1550 on the ladder or 1600 on the ladder, whatever the cutoff is. That's like a good like introduction to like the tournament scene. And I think without that, the upper echelons of like the qualifying for circuit and the making it far in tournaments, that becomes very closed off to the people who like dedicate a lot of time to PU. So like the mains and stuff, like the people who build, who actually like know the tier inside and out. So that'll be your bigger players. It becomes kind of closed off towards them because then you have the lower, well, not the lower standard, the lesser known people. They'll seek less opportunity essentially. They won't get, basically you won't see a lesser known player outbuild a Teddy, for example. Like that's not going to happen. So you have to find like an opportunity for them. So yeah, I think Ladder Tour fits nicely for that.
Yeah, and basically our opinion hasn't changed since the last time Ladder Tour came up, or the time before that. We always try to defend it. We don't get enough of an active commenting base to see if anyone disagrees with that. But yeah, does anyone else have thoughts on Ladder Tour we didn't necessarily cover? I think we went over a good bit of it.
We could talk about individual people who qualified each week, but
if you have anyone you want to talk about specifically, then sure. But I don't know.
Yeah, if you have any standout names.
I had what's it called?
Are there a couple of ladder guys that potentially ladder, like who did it, or?
There's like a bunch of like just random like people.
Yeah, there's several people I've never heard of. There's two people who like qualified in suspects, but they've never like done anything towards or been in the community or anything. There's one person who has like 10 posts and no likes and joined in 2015, but like never used their account, so I have no idea who they are. And there's a couple people who have like joined a lot of tours and always gone out like round 4, the latest. Plus, we still don't know who's qualifying for week 4, but there's probably at least a couple more like unknown people. I know TJ and Chloe are probably like slipping in, but I'm not sure who else was going for it. 2X might make it in.
Really, outside of like Lockjaw, but Lockjaw's like a player too, so.
Yeah, I consider Lockjaw more of like a player, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm just looking at like who talks in the room, and there really aren't any people at all.
Yeah.
Out of all of these like random people, I guess like I would
skip Ken.
Yeah, I guess skip Ken.
Skip Ken was like Skip Ken was. No, never mind. I thought he was pretty close in last year's circuit, which I still had up, but he was like 24th qualifier, like 150 points. So.
Out of all these people, like the randoms at least, I could see like Zugaboo and I guess Yedla.
Zugaboo always shows up. Yedla, I don't know.
I just don't.
That was that was at once like a breakout seasonal and also a really unimpressive seasonal. So I don't know. But Zugaboo.
Wait, are we talking about Zugaboo?
No, Yedla. But Zugaboo always shows up.
Oh.
Before he got forum banned. He was quite close to qualifying for last year's circuit. Never been like that crazy exceptional of a player, but always like solid enough to beat the dudes who are kind of new or not solid, and tends to really make you work for wins, like a lot harder than other quote like random or lesser seen people. Zugaboo, you really need to like he doesn't really give away free games. Like even I will give away free games, or Katut. Like sometimes it just happens, but Zugaboo I really don't think ever like just completely drops what he's doing unless you specifically hard prepped for him at Team Builder, which is again like that's not super free.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Zugaboo is like he's this weird guy where he's super difficult for like lower echelon players. When I say lower echelon, I say like lower standard players. You know what I mean? Like people who aren't as like proficient in PU, they're very difficult to beat because how he plays and the teams he brings,
slacking, stall,
that type of stuff. Yeah, just like whack stuff, like matchup based stuff. That's his domain essentially. So for a newer player, it's a bit daunting and a bit hard to deal with the pressure. But if you're an experienced, a PU vet, as I like to call them, you don't really have issues with that type of thing. Like everybody will have like an anti-stall team, an anti-rain team. You know, like everybody who plays PU a lot has those teams in their build and waiting for when Zugaboo happens to come around. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he struggles a bit in those matchups, you know, versus the bigger players. So if I'm looking at him like on an individual level, if he can like claim a scalp, that would be like really big for him. Say like, oh, I can, and it can't be like a scalp like, oh, I got matchup versus Katut because I have this stall team with the slacking and he doesn't have a normal resist type of thing. I want to see him like balance on balance, out like pound for pound outplay like a Katut or a Zeri or a Rexus, or you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he could out. I think Zugaboo is probably capable of outplaying some, if not all, of those names. He's not that bad. He just tends to fuck around a lot of really weird stuff and like cultivate his whole persona of just being like the dude who complains incessantly and then brings slacking stalls. And when I hit a bad matchup and got unlucky, it's like you just brought a slacking stall. I don't know. Weird dude to talk about.
Did we miss Pills when it came to like talking about winners? Because
I just completely missed Pills because he's right there next to a bunch of names that I'm like. I just as soon as you said that, I looked back and like, yep, Pills is right there. That was stupid of me. He won, fucking what was it, Seeded Tour, and that's not nothing. It's weird. Pills has shown up in a lot of random tours, but I think Seeded is the first major thing. He managed to win. Like he's come very close and just barely missed out on it a couple times. Like PU Falls, the fall seasonal, the last seasonal from last year, the one that Katut won. He came very, very close. I think third place. And if he had gotten like first or second, he might have even qualified. No, I think if he got first, he would need to get first to qualify for circuit. So like he's come very close, but not quite. And Seeded was the first thing he really won, and that's obviously like not actually for circuit points. So I think he's definitely due for something larger. Also, having taken out Katut, which is something very few people recently have done.
The thing about that is he's been using a lot of like Lockjaw's teams.
Yeah, so, that's like, a bit unfortunate.
I think, you know, if Lockjaw's making all these teams and like it's beating people like K-Tut and like all these other players, like I think Lockjaw could actually do really well.
That's true, but I still personally am not gonna. I don't want to hedge too many bets because I still don't have that much confidence in those teams. But
yeah, I feel like with Pills and like Lockjaw, I think it shows how important that it is to have like a good group of people around you that like to build. Because Pills can go to Lockjaw and say, "Hey, friend, I'm trying to build to play this. Do you have any ideas?" And Lockjaw might come around to Pills and say, "Oh, I have this perfect like choice banded Rampados team to destroy HChat, and then Phil's is like, thank you, that's a great idea, and then they bring CB Rampados versus me, and I just lose. So I think having like friends and like people you can talk to that can advise you on the builder, that's a really important like aspect.
Like I said, Katut loses to the Brazilian gang.
Yeah,
true facts. 100-0 matchup. Brazilians versus Katut. Never fails.
Yeah, so.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually do think Katut beat Pills in that seasonal one I was just talking about. I'm just messing around in case people took that.
But yeah, I think that's an important. If you're a newer player and you struggle with the builder, I guess you can. I think a good way of learning is just to like see how other people build, make friends with them, and like just like get nuggets of advice here and there, and see what you can do on your own as well. But as well as do that, you can for sure like learn a lot of things from people that you make as friends.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got into like a decent level, I guess. Like I guess knowing TJ and stuff, because he builds a lot more. I'm kind of like you, Megazord. I don't really build at all, so it's nice knowing people who can like send you a team when you need one.
Yeah, I'll have you know, Megazord makes the greatest jank offense, and only the greatest.
And only the jank offense, I think you mean. Other than the stall that I took from you and like slapped a little Persian on, literally all I make is just idiot jank offense. Oh, and that team that destroys ladder but is objectively terrible. The one with Altaria and Scarf Scyther and Regirock that like carries me through ladder. I just replaced it with Simisear. In fact, it had Simisear, then I put Houndoom on it when Houndoom dropped, then I put Simisear back on it. Yeah, aside from that, all I build is jank offense. Bring like fucking Zangoose versus you for Brazilian PL.
Versus Tasker and
Did I use it?
Like
No, Spec Simisear are a totally different team. I think I actively avoid using it in tournaments because I know it's terrible, and then I brought it in seasonal for one of the games because I was just like, I couldn't care less about this seasonal, and it got bodied.
Yeah, I mean, Scyther gets bodied. Who would have thought?
I mean, it's not just got the Scarf Scyther, it's also got an Altaria, it's like a double defog Altaria set. It's a gross team.
Are you still?
Oh, hey, it's Tone.
What's up, Tone?
He joined call, but he muted his mic. Well, we're gonna have Tone too. That's cool and good. Well, yeah. Once he unmutes.
Bitches love Tone's cannons. That's a certified fact.
Yeah, so I think they covered it for Ladder Tour. I know I don't expect you guys to have topics, but just in case, before we jump into like the other real meaty, weighty discussion that we have, is there anything you guys would like to bring up whatsoever?
Yes. Water is good for hydration. Drink some water.
I'm gonna drink some water right now.
Good idea. That's a good idea. You might be hydrated now. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Tone. We've been Untier talking for the last half hour, for the record.
I kind of figured. I was trying to get on sooner, but my computer's being dumb.
You're good. Tone, what do you think of Ladder Tour? Anything you want to say before we finally drop this subject that we've been dropping over and over and then somehow bring back up again?
Ladder Tours are a bitch and a half.
I agree.
Well, there you go. Anyway, you do have actual.
A suspect ladder.
Wait, no, it's more painful. You have to play more games, and you have to not lose as well.
Yeah, suspect ladder is fucking whatever. By the way, thoughts on LST being the suspect?
Oh, you mean the thing I told you to do from 2 months ago?
Yeah, no, I've been waiting to do this for fucking forever. I'm so happy I got to do that.
Dude, I was actually crying. I saw, I was looking at the thread on my phone, and I clicked on it, and it said, "No way, he just made the tag for the suspect as LST."
Of course I did. Dude, we had East Eggy Lola suspect test, and we had was it HST for Houndoom? I don't actually remember. So like this is just the
Houndoom thing was puh.
Oh yeah, PU Houndoom puh. I just go with, like, we had East, we had puh, now we have LST.
Oh, you had the when Yogi did Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
PUS.
Oh yeah, we had PUS, which was.
And somebody did pub.
Yeah, pub. I just go with what's funny. Like I think if we're gonna have to stick a tag in front of our name, we might as well make it fun. And why
might
not?
as well trigger the person it's associated with.
Yeah, I mean I'm tier leader. I get to do some shit.
My H-Shed sucks one for some ladder tour. Or no,
wow.
It was a suspect.
That's so mean.
Wow, this is awesome.
Hey, I don't think it had the you can't flame anybody in your tag. Wasn't that rule like just implemented?
Wait, no. I think
every time we ult.
In your defense, Specs, I do suck, so it's an objective statement.
Yeah.
A flaming thing.
It can't be against the rules.
Exactly.
What rules?
Exactly. Rules are meant to be broken.
You don't even post replays for seasonals.
Exactly. There are no rules.
God, don't even bring up seasonal replays. I'm so over that shit.
I mean, at least it's over, right?
Yeah.
Well,
to be honest,
there's gonna be more. People are going to complain about an open too, because no one posts seasonals, no one posts replays in the opens, because like you can't keep making new shit for all these opens.
I just want to get this out there before I explode. Hot take: Hide Room has ruined tournament Pokemon.
I don't know about ruined, but it's become worse. Hide Room, but also hiding replays, is a serious problem. But I really, guys, please, I just want to say I agree before I say, please, let's not do this. This subject always goes really badly. In P, you get a lot of people who I have no idea how to talk about this discussion, but I'm going to get really angry about it. And the last time it came up, we lost a council member, and let's please.
I mean, I don't think any of us are going to get really heated about it.
No, I know, but let's just not even. You know what we can do, since we're splitting this in two? Hajad, do you want to do a quick gimmick corner right now?
Yeah, sure. For those of you who have played me in the last week, which are, I think, 3 people, you have seen that I'm rocking a new squad. And spoilers, if you were listening like 5 minutes ago, I mentioned CB Rampados. I was actually using CB Rampados.
Oh my god, why? We have Aggron.
I think it's better than Aggron. I'm being serious.
No, dude, what the fuck?
It is faster than Aggron, so yeah.
It's faster than Aggron, and it beats all of Aggron's counters.
When
what? I say beats, I mean,
sorry, does it break Mudsdale and Quagsire? No fucking way.
Here's with Mudsdale, right? If you rock slide it and then head smash it twice, it dies. So it's not a switch.
You just said choice band.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you rock smash it.
Yeah.
He said rock. He said rock
Wait,
slide
and
then smash it twice.
You said rock smash it. Are you talking about lowering defenses or what?
Hey, that's the strat.
Basically, stamina's a busted ability, so you have to get some prior damage on it before you click head smash twice. I think it's about...
Okay, but literally the same thing goes for Aggron.
Well, the thing is that what about your... Basically, Mudsdale's not going to be on every team, and plus, you can click Zen Headbutt or Earthquake. Basically, Mudsdale gets hurt every scenario. So, whereas Aggron, if you click Heavy Slam, Mudsdale just comes in for free. But also, I just wanted to add quickly, think about your other... Mudsdale's not going to be on every team, right? what are your other rock type checks that are like currently running around in the tier? So you have like Gerda and Gastrodon and like Quagsire. Would you say those are like the three most prominent?
The only time I've seen Gastrodon has been the goddamn stockpile set. That's annoying as hell.
No, I see regular Gastrodons. Gastrodons are good. I suppose you could throw Poliwrath on there too, and maybe Tangela.
Yeah. Playing it, why can I not get
Poliwrath is a good one. Yeah, Poliwrath is a good one. I forgot about that.
I know you can hit them with prediction, but it's still like all Aggron has to do is spam head smash and actually have like defenses. I don't know about this.
I like Scarf Ramp. Scarf Ramp is cool.
Nah, Scarf Ramp is too weak, bro.
No, you head smash the Gutslord and you kill yourself on recoil.
Wait, no, I count this. It does 85 to 100% on recoil.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, Gutslord is so much HP.
Like wait, but you can just run Superpower because Rock Slide isn't contact, so you can run Superpower and not Earthquake. So that's not
you can do Rock.
Deal.
Oh, so you can do Rock Spam with Rampardos plus Reichenrock.
Yeah,
that's basically the idea is, well, not necessarily the idea, but if you need a breaker that's not Aggron, that's faster, but that can also break like Gerda, Poliwrath. You can 2-hit KO Quagsire with Zen Headbutt, and you 2-hit KO Gastrodon with Zen Headbutt as well. So those go bye-bye. It's ridiculously powerful, and it gets a lot of opportunities because it's a lot faster than Aggron. Well, when I say a lot faster, it's like 30, I think, if you get both of them.
It's base 50. It's base 58 speed.
Doesn't it hit 236?
I don't know.
Yeah, it hits 236 if Charlie.
I think it's pretty clear that Ramp can break like anything. Like no one is saying CB Ramp can't break things, but I feel like it really should have a very shit offense matchup. And, like, in general, seems like the kind of thing I would use if I was facing a player who is not as good as me. But then if I was like, oh, damn, I need to go play Katut or something, I don't think... Well, maybe Katut brings such weird stuff, maybe. But if I was like, damn, I need to go face Sam I Am or something, I don't think Aggron or CB Ramp is something I'd ever consider using. You feel me?
Yeah, obviously, when you play Sam, like, there's an element where like Sam brings more offensive style, so obviously you won't bring.
Well, not just that. I just meant like someone who's like someone who's a better player. I feel like this is a set that seems better versus bad people. To be perfectly honest.
To be honest, I think this set works better versus good people than it does versus bad people, because bad people tend to bring jankier offenses. No offense, Megazord, but bad players tend to bring jankier offenses.
Hey,
breakers and
no one's offenses are jankier than mine.
Applied to be towards Megazord, or are you talking about in general?
Well, because
I'm talking about in general and with Megazord in respect, so like it's both.
Because I'm supposed to be the one who brings all janky offense.
When did Zard ever bring a janky team?
My offenses are always jank, dude.
Yeah, I think.
You remember that BD Zangoose team I brought for Brazilian Premier League thing?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring Zangoose to beat Sableye. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That lasted a long time. To be fair, it almost worked.
Yeah.
If it was sub. But,
okay. CB Ram. That's my being a little bit skeptical, but I can also see why, like, if you're better than the other dude and you bring a CB Ramp, seems like a pretty fast way to just get awfully rewarded. I mean, rewarded a lot, not rewarded badly. That was a bad use of awfully.
It's a good set, I swear.
Okay. So, this is probably where I'll end up splitting the episode or something. We're not going to do a different intro or anything.